11, 12. Turning off notifications. Okay, the stream is going to start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey, let's start the show.
It's July 4th, Independence Day 2013. Welcome to This Is Only a Test, the official podcast of Tested.com. Norman Chan, you turned my headphones down. You threw my whole rhythm off there at the beginning of the show. How are you doing today, sir?
I turned my own headphones down.
You turned mine down, too. You turned them all down. It's like, wait, I can't hear what's going on. I don't know what's happening. Where am I? What's my name? Hey, it's Independence Day.
It's your favorite day of the year.
No. That's Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday.
Well, I said that in maybe a sarcastic way.
What? I like freedom. I love America.
No,
I got no beef with us.
The purpose of the day is enjoyable for everyone involved, but for you specifically, it's your favorite Twitter day of the year.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to Earth. It's a dark time. Last year, I think TNT or TBS or somebody ran Independence Day in marathon form all day long. But once Tweetbot added the ability to mute words, it kind of fixed Twitter for me.
Earth.
I muted Earth, E-A-R-F,
okay,
which just to be clear,
he doesn't say
it at all.
Doesn't say in the movie.
He absolutely says Earth. It is well enunciated.
Yeah.
And then I also tweeted block ID4, hashtag ID4, mute ID4.
You're missing out on
something else.
You're missing out on a lot of gold.
I'm gonna go and tell you, I love that movie. It's a Roland Emmerich movie, right?
It is a Roland Emmerich movie.
It is my favorite Roland Emmerich movie that is not about submarines.
What's the one he made about submarines?
Das Boot.
He's made a lot of movies.
He's made a lot of movies.
He is single-handedly responsible for the city destruction porn phase of movies.
And that was all practical stuff. It was all models and awesome stuff.
It was one of the last movies that had models. For example, the White House exploding was all models.
All of those buildings exploding were models.
And then he went to Escalation after that. So his movie after that was... Well,
no, his movie after that was Godzilla, wasn't it?
His movie after that was The Patriot.
Oh, really?
Then Godzilla.
Ugh. Both of those stunk.
Patriot kind of rode the coattails of Gladiator. And
it was Godzilla and then The Patriot, by the way.
Godzilla and The Patriot. I guess he does period pieces also. He did that Shakespeare one.
Yeah. He did 10,000 BC, which isn't that the movie with Michael Cera and Jack Black?
No. That's year one.
Oh,
I believe,
okay.
Is the Michael Cera, Jack Black classic. Both actors in the prime of their...
That movie's fucking awful, dude.
In the right where they both became irrelevant.
Yeah. It has what's her name too from the Zach Braff TV show and How I Met Your Mother. I watched that on an airplane once.
The Zach
Sarah
Braff
Chalk
TV show. Oh, okay.
Scrubs and How I Met Your Mother.
You mean fake Roseanne's second daughter?
Yeah. Yes. I did not watch Roseanne, so I didn't know that. But yes.
Pop culture references. Did you know that in the highly anticipated sequel to Independence Day, which originally was supposed to... Independence Day, I think, came out in 1998.
Yeah.
And the studio executives really wanted to make a sequel. They've been talking about it for a long time. They couldn't get it all together. They wanted to call it ID Forever.
It's on Roland Emmerich's director's page on IMDb.
And now they finally have... I think they have a script in, and they are getting principals signed up.
No Will Smith.
No Will Smith.
I heard that from Twitter.
No Will Smith.
He is not on board yet.
Outrageous. He's too big for Independence Day.
Jeff,
Independence.
I mean, that's the thing that kind of like... I mean, Will Smith obviously had a stunning career before that. But that was the first of the big action movies for him, wasn't it?
Bad Boys was the first
big
big
Bad
action
Boys.
movie.
Yeah, I forgot
Bad
about
Boys,
Bad Boys.
when he ran down the street and Michael Bay said, "Unbutton your shirt," And Will Smith said, that makes me look silly. And Michael Bay said, you don't know audiences like I do. And Will Smith said, okay. And so when he's running down the street chasing that dude in the chase scene, that's when he became a star.
The shirt was flapping.
The shirt
that moment.
I think he was wearing a wife beater or something, and
I think they're called tank tops, Norm.
I don't know if they're called tank tops.
Tank tops.
He was wearing an undershirt.
A sleeveless undershirt.
And audiences, certain quadrants of the demographic got really excited, and that's what turned him into a star.
Fair enough. Yeah, he's real up and down, Roland Emmerich. He produced the 13th Floor.
Will Smith.
No, Will Smith's great. I love Will Smith.
I think he's also kind of up and down, but
even the stuff like
Gary's not here. What?
I haven't seen the new movie, so I'm out. Yeah. iRobot though, like iRobot was a critically panned movie. You go back and watch that movie now; it is okay.
No, it's not.
It's no Minority Report.
No, it's not.
It has one of the Moynahans.
It has the more professional looking, older scientist looking one.
Yeah,
Bridget, not Michelle.
Yeah, it's got the robot bits are good. It's reasonably clever. It shouldn't have been called iRobot, but it's okay.
It also has Shia LaBeouf in his classic "I Am a Sidekick" role, as he played in Constantine and iRobot and Bagger Vance.
The Audi sponsored robot fighting on the freeway, self-driving car scene. That's great. You can't not love that.
I don't love it. So
you need to go back and rewatch that movie. It is worth watching. Okay.
Did you know that movie has set up a classic trope of the man who hates robots because robots do not value or are too clinical about their evaluation of life and life worth. So the big twist in that movie, and sucks for you haven't seen it because you shouldn't watch it, is that Will Smith.
Hold on, if they haven't seen it, it should be good for them. You're going to spoil it. It doesn't matter because you say it sucks. Be thematically consistent.
He was injured. He has a robotic arm or something because his life was the robot saved his life and didn't save a little girl's life. You gotta set the whole thing up, man. Car crashes, self-driving car crashes. The worst fear of mine. Both cars are in the water. Okay.
The little girl is 3 inches further down across the windshield. He's looking at her in a different car. And the robot looks at the situation, immediately evaluates his chance of survival is better, yanks him out of the car, screaming, go get the girl, go get the girl. And by the time the robot gets there, it's too late.
It's too late, and also his arm is torn off.
Yeah. Did you see the?
And so he's a robot hater.
But he's a self-hating robot. He's a self-hating cyborg.
He's a cyborg.
He hates his arm.
Yes, he does.
He does not use his arm.
He spray paints his arm. Exactly what happens in the one scene. That is now a huge plot point in an upcoming TV show.
Which TV show?
I forget its name nor the network, but it stars Carl Urban.
Oh, I like Carl Urban.
And he plays a cop who the exact same thing happens to him, and he hates robots.
Yeah.
And yet he is now, as a cop, paired up with a robot partner.
Oh, so it's like that Penny Arcade.
It is Automata.
Automata, yeah.
But with
also
the Will Smith character from...
It comes back around.
There it goes. And with the Will Smith character from iRobot. And of course, the robot that he's paired up with was a earlier prototype which had personality and could learn, and was not the zero personality clinical version.
Hold on, that Carl Urban was paired up with? Yeah. So he's the Mr. Data of the world.
He's more like the holographic doctor from Star Trek.
Who's your favorite robot sidekick? R2-D2? He counts. Like R2-D2 is mine. I'm going to get that out there. He's a deep character. He's arguably the star of the Star Wars movies.
Hitchhiker's Guide?
Oh, Marvin the Paranoid Android?
Yeah. Marvin's great.
Marvin, his brain the size of a planet.
Also,
brain tasking.
Also, the voice of Alan Rickman.
Oh, not the fucking movie though.
I thought the movie was delightful.
The movie was okay, but it's not as good as the book. The book and the radio play.
The book is. No one's saying the book isn't great. I'm saying the movie was delightful.
Oh, so you're using the Stephen King argument just because the movie and the book are different? The book hasn't gone anywhere. People are pissed because Under the Dome is on.
Under the Dome about The Shining.
It's Under the Dome. People are upset because Under the Dome is out, and it is.
Stephen King gave his blessing.
He wrote it. He wrote the pilot, I think.
I don't think he wrote the pilot.
He is heavily involved in this TV show.
He is not heavily involved. I do not think he's heavily involved.
I read that article in Entertainment Weekly. It said.
I think he was on set. I think Stephen King kind of let it go and he's happy that one of his works,
Right.
because they want this to be a multi-season show.
Well, CBS has a history of putting shows of taking Stephen King works
into
and making
TV movies.
It's a miniseries. It's like 13 episodes.
No. They want this to be a
Really?
They want it to be a. They want what's and I think that's actually a great idea because in the book, and I'm not going to spoil the book because.
Did you read the book?
Yes.
Okay.
In the book, the ending is like really kind of ending. Like
Stephen King books kind of do that sometimes.
But really, it's all about the build-up and this like how society breaks down. And I think that if you extend it in real time over several years, the way society breaks down and the way the real world, because you have this direct indirect interaction between the outside world and the world inside the dome, the town, like that contrast can be really interesting 5 years in the future.
People holding signs up outside the dome.
Well,
hey, what's up, bro?
You would have a military base established all around the perimeter. You would have like new systems of communication using just light and visual.
Yeah, but how are they going to build that stuff inside? Society has collapsed inside.
Right.
People are banging rocks together. I don't know.
You're going to run out of toilet paper.
I thought that ending was pretty bad. In that, it's like The Stand. The Stand is like 1,000 pages of awesome, and then the last 200 it just goes to hell. I don't even know how we started talking about this. Oh, Independence Day's on this weekend, I'm sure. I'm really looking forward to that. Should we just jump right into the news? There's a surprising amount of stuff to talk about.
The TV show that Carl Urban is with the robot.
Yeah.
It's called Almost Human.
That's terrible.
How's that for
It's on
terrible
CBS?
name?
It's got to be on CBS.
Nope. I believe it is. Oh, it can't be on. It's produced by Bad Robot. Really?
Wow, it might actually be good.
Nah. It's on Fox. It is a Fox show.
They're trying to CBS it up. I saw the worst trailer for a TV show coming up this week.
Sleepy Hollow. Sleepy Hollow.
Way worse than that.
No. Sleepy Hollow is the worst one.
No. It's the one about the cop with the perfect memory. And it's called...
Is it a procedural?
It is a procedural crime drama called Unforgettable. Wow. And it's about a cop with a perfect memory. That's her power.
It's a girl, too.
Lady cop.
So I bet it was an inspiration if people of my generation might remember. There is a children's book called Cam Jansen. And it was a mystery series about a girl who had perfect memory and would take photographic memory and would take photos of events by saying the word click.
Really? That's it? She just said click and then it's stuck
click.
in there?
It's stuck in there.
Whew, that sucks.
And I bet she grew up to be this cop lady in Unforgettable.
Played by Poppy Montgomery from Without a Trace. Another procedural crime drama.
It really is a, you could probably sell, I bet there are magnet sets, kitchen magnet sets of
generated procedural crime drama?
Yes.
Did you read
Sleep Hollow is the worst one.
Did you have the Three Investigators when you were a kid?
No.
You never saw they might be too old for you. But the Three Investigators were about a bunch of precocious, probably, let's say, they'd be called tweens today. Maybe they were like 10 to 14.
That is definitely in tween age.
Yeah, and
10 to 12.
One of them lived in a junkyard. He was the ringleader of the Three Investigators. And they built these amazing secret bases in the depths of the junkyard that you can only get through by certain secret routes and all that stuff. And then they went around town solving crimes. And they were always big crimes. It was like, I mean, occasionally they'd fish a cat out of a tree or whatever, but usually it was like a big mystery solved. They had an underwater base, the whole thing. They were very precocious.
I would trade all the fantasy, sparkly vampire, or werewolf, young adult novels in the world right now.
Hunger Games?
For more. I mean, I think Hunger Games is a separate genre of more like youth empowerment.
That's fair.
And maybe female empowerment also. And there's a whole genre that's really popular, all getting adapted into movies. I would trade all of those, at least the fantasy ones, for more youth detective organizations and youth crime solvers.
I feel like the youth detectives have kind of fallen off as like procedural crime dramas have become an old person show.
They see the world differently. The youth.
The kids.
They're
not interested in solving crimes.
The best one, of course, was Encyclopedia Brown.
Oh, no way, dude.
It's Yes Way, best one, they are unfortunately also adapting into a movie.
Really? Who's playing Encyclopedia?
They have not
Some
cast
unknown
that yet.
child?
They have not cast it.
Probably Michael Cera.
That would be the worst. Absolutely
that
the worst.
would be amazing.
No.
Michael Cera as Encyclopedia.
Nope.
What's Encyclopedia Brown's? What's his sidekick's name? He's
Sally
a buddy.
Kimball.
Sally Kimball could
She
be
protected him.
Chloe Moretz. It's perfect. This writes itself.
No,
It's like
nope. Nope.
the pair from the people that brought you Kick-Ass and Kick-Ass
Nope.
2.
That's
This
the
is
worst.
exactly what everybody needs.
Oh my god, that's the worst.
Should we talk about news? News.
Ba-da-ba-bum. Today's
No,
headlines.
it's copyrighted. Yeah. Go ahead.
Today's headlines.
Brought to you by.
Brought to you by Samsung.
Fair enough.
Samsung.
Yeah.
Glorious Samsung.
Samsung, makers of the
number one top selling smartphone maker in the world.
Yep.
With high profits and user satisfaction.
They're the only people making money on Android.
They are.
Probably. Maybe Google is. We don't know. It's unclear. None of the other phone manufacturers are right now, it seems like.
Yeah. Samsung bought Boxee Box
Yeah.
today.
I think this
is not unconfirmed, although it might be by the time you hear this.
Probably, yeah, we're recording on Wednesday. So, like, Norm and I right now are probably drunk in a backyard someplace, if I had to guess. Or you're going to the park, I think, right? Don't want to give away your plans. Yeah, it's they bought Boxee, and it's unclear exactly why.
So Boxee, which has had a very interesting history, started off as a software platform for media HTPCs.
It started off, it forked off of XBMC.
So XBMC, which is great, still around, and
Yep.
still a ton of people use it, kind of forked into two places, Plex and Boxee. And Boxee had really good software for a long time, and then they started doing hardware. And so you had the first Boxee box, which I believe you liked.
Well, and so the market for the early Boxee software and the first Boxee box was very clearly, like, they were trying to get into stealing video from websites. Not like stealing, but like putting web video on your TV.
They actually started off as front ends to watch
Ripped movies, maybe pirated movies.
Possibly pirated movies.
Right.
So as opposed to catering to the people who would possibly have, DRM-free files, whether they purchased them or not, they moved into.
Let's call it gray market.
Gray market
video. Because you could have bought it. Like, I ripped all my DVDs. I don't pirate stuff.
into streaming video.
And that
a front end for kind of aggregating all the streaming video.
And for that purpose, that original Boxee box and the early Boxee software was rad. They did a really good job, better than anybody else I'd used at the time, of like scanning a bunch of raw ISO or MKV or MP4 files, figuring out what the movies were, applying the appropriate metadata, and giving you the ability to do things like search by actor or director or studio or whatever on that content, which is awesome. Did the same thing for music and photos, but there are other products that did that probably better than that. The movie thing was the high point. And then the Boxee box also gave you the ability to play web video on your TV until people started blocking them. So things like Comedy Central, South Park Studios, Comedy Central, Cartoon Network, I guess. I can't remember the others. But like cable networks that posted their video online, you could watch that through Boxee on the TV without having a cable subscription for a while.
Right.
Unfortunately for them, that box was expensive. It was like $300, and the market.
I don't think it was that expensive, but they had to change chips inside.
It was really expensive.
That's wow.
It was one of the first wave of TV set-top boxes that weren't for pirates. Like, it hit the same time the first Black Apple TV hit, and the second gen Roku and all those came out. They didn't sell very many of them because they were expensive.
Well, I don't think
they were limited.
Many of their existing or their new box, which is they launched as the Boxee TV.
Yeah,
but it's really the Boxee Cloud DVR.
It's dumb, is why they didn't sell many of those.
Service.
Yeah,
to store videos. Streaming video in the cloud.
The first one was a good idea for a tiny market. The second one's just a dumb idea, because who is going to use a TV tuner in your house to then upload video to the internet?
It was like a DVR box, but instead of storing it locally, it would be stored on their servers.
Right. And it would be a great idea if we lived in a world where everybody had really killer upstream, except for nobody has killer upstream. So anyway, Samsung bought them. The speculation that I read is that it's going to go into smart TV stuff, which makes a ton of sense. They have an app ecosystem and API stuff established for that. So it gives Samsung the ability to have something that people can openly develop for easily, and that there's actually already a boatload of apps built for.
It just sounds like they're spending money right now to try to get ahead of any Apple announcement.
Yeah, and it's cheap. $30 million is like they make that money off of like 6 Android phones right now.
I'm sure the Boxee people are not very happy about the price.
I can't imagine that was
Well,
what they
I'm
were
sure
looking for. It's probably the
probably-
Boxee investors. The Boxee people are stoked to have jobs still.
Right.
Google Reader is gone. Gone.
Yep.
It went
They-
away
they-
yesterday.
Google had said it would go away, and it did go away. What are the alternatives now? Has anyone tried the Dig, the new Dig reader?
Feedly, new Dig. Is the new Dig a public beta, or is it still in, like, you still have to have invites,
I
I
believe
think?
it is open.
It's open now. Feedly, I've
I
heard
don't
good
use
things
RSS,
about.
so-
Yeah, neither do I. So we're the least qualified people in the room to talk about this. We should get somebody who writes for us who does RSS stuff to write a what to do thing. That seems like maybe a good idea. I don't know. It's gone. We've
You know
talked
who
about
else,
this a
who else
lot.
is also gone?
Who else is gone?
Morrissey.
Morrissey died?
Not Morrissey. Morsi,
Who's Morrissey?
the president of Egypt.
Oh, really? That happened?
Gone right now.
Live?
Live. Ousted. Breaking news.
It's kind of a... It's A, off topic, and B, a little...
Military coup.
So is this the freely elected
If I
president
had
of
Google,
Egypt?
If I had Google Reader and use RSS,
I know you'd know
we
this.
would know this earlier.
So is he the democratically elected president
was.
after the Green
Yes.
Revolt last year or whatever it was?
Twitter.
The Twitter revolution?
10 or 9, I believe.
No,
it was a long time ago.
No, we were at whiskey.
Like people changing. Maybe I'm thinking of the other Syria.
You're thinking of Syria
elections.
and
Yeah.
Iran is what you're thinking
Yes,
of as the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks ass. Military coups are never good. That's they.
Did you see that photo, going back to technology, of the protesters in Egypt who wanted to get rid of Morsi using lasers?
Why do they hate
pointing
Morsi?
lasers?
Oh.
Morsi,
Oh.
they're pointing lasers at military helicopters.
Yeah.
So military helicopters were hovering above the square, and you could see dozens of these green lasers.
And red occasionally.
That's like the beginning of Running Man. That's pretty terrifying.
Well, Terminator, like that's our only. If you want to blow out forward-looking infrared, get some infrared lasers, blast them up at the drone.
These people are just hungry. They're unarmed.
I haven't watched Running Man since I was 8, probably. Oh my god. Does it hold up?
Absolutely.
Really?
Well,
That's Carl Weathers, right?
No, that's Predator. Running Man has
Jesse the Body Ventura.
Yes.
Also
with
Predator.
hair.
Really, he had hair still.
With hair. It might have been a
Crazy.
hair piece.
And the guy from Family Feud played the host, right? Who was the
don't
host
think
of the game show?
I never watched Family Feud. Some charismatic old dude.
I think it's the host of Family Feud. There was a Russian Proton rocket launched earlier this week.
What's a proton rocket?
Proton rocket is a former ISBN design or ISBM design, ICBM. I'm having a hard time today. I didn't sleep much last night.
Intercontinental ballistic missile.
Yeah, it is. They're
It's like
heavy
it's like the
lifter.
heavy ICBMs are like the top tier of what you can research in like Age of Empires or those
Yeah,
games.
well, I
So
mean-
you could have nukes or you could have ICBMs.
Well, no, you have
want
to.
the
You get nukes first, and then
yes.
ICBMs.
Top tier was ICBMs. Now it would be like viruses or something lame.
Yeah, so it blew up. It crashed. It didn't even blow up. They were launching some of the Russian Russian version of GPS satellites for their GPS constellation, and it looked like a Kerbal Space Program launch. If you watch the video,
Yeah.
it starts to wobble in a way that you like. I've watched a lot of rocket crash videos over the years because it's really fascinating.
It's not easy.
Launching rockets is hard.
Yeah.
You got to be good at stuff. The math's tricky.
It's not using.
No.
It's not pumping water into a soda.
You can do that, but that's not going to get you to orbit.
No.
So yeah, it looks like a Kerbal Space Program video, pretty much. But I was surprised.
No one was injured, which is why we can laugh about it.
No one was injured yet. There's massive ecological
Oh, then
fallout.
we can't laugh about it.
No, we shouldn't laugh.
No chuckling.
The problem is that the fuel that they use for these rockets is because it was originally an ICBM, is designed to be essentially shelf stable for a really long time. So they fuel if you've ever watched Dr. Strangelove, when they said, "Oh, the Russians are fueling the rockets," this is what they're doing. They're pumping in it's like nitrogen, tetrazine, and some methylated something or other fuel that is highly explosive and makes a lot of thrust and all that, but also is incredibly toxic in a whole bunch of horrible ways. So this thing had 600 tons of it, or 600,000 tons, or some massive amount of it. and blew up as it impacted the ground, or just before it impacted the ground. I was really shocked that they didn't hit the self-destruct on it. Because every time, like when we have rockets that go bad, because it happens to everybody occasionally.
Eventually.
Yeah, I mean, then we usually self-destruct if it's something unmanned. And they didn't do this. They just let it hammer straight back into the ground. You should watch the video. It's on the site. So yeah, 3 constellation, three. I can't remember what they call their GPS, but they lost 3 of those satellites, and no one was hurt yet. Although, like I said, massive ecological fallout.
Speaking of Doctor Strangelove, did you know some alternate titles for the movie Doctor Strangelove?
You mean How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb?
Well, that was yes. That was the full title.
That's the official title.
Yes, was Don't Knock the Bomb. Yeah. Doctor Doomsday. Save the Bomb. I didn't like that either.
No.
My Bomb, Your Bomb.
That one's okay.
Doctor Doomsday meets Ingrid Strangelove.
That's no good.
How to Be Afraid 24 Hours a Day.
That sums up the whole thing.
And my favorite, Doctor Strangelove's Secret Uses of Uranus.
That's pretty good too. I don't think there's really anything about Uranus in that movie though. Who's your favorite character in Doctor Strangelove?
Peter Sellers.
Which Peter Sellers though? Doctor Strangelove?
All of Peter Sellers. Yeah, I think Doctor Strangelove's pretty good.
He plays Doctor Strangelove, and he plays the attaché to the base commander, the Branchwater and Rainwater and rubbing and
it's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah.
What I also learned at
Who's
the Stanley Kubrick LACMA exhibit is that at the end of that movie, in the big war room, Kubrick originally envisioned a big pie fight between everyone.
I can see that. Like the world's ending. Why not?
And as just a
spoilers,
farce,
by the way.
They shot it.
They did.
They rented thousands of pies and made a giant mess. And then he watched it and thought, that's a little too much. And so he cut it out.
It wouldn't have had quite the grim tone if at the end of the world they just start whipping out pies.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I really love that movie.
That's
one of my favorites. Rockets are hard. HTC One S rather, was supposed to get an Android 4.2 update, and it is not going to. Sorry, guys. The S was the cheap version, right, of last year's HTC One?
There was HTC One X, which was a year and a half ago now.
Yeah.
Almost a year, a little over a year ago. Then the One S. S is a small one. Now there's HTC One Mini. So you want a small one, get the Mini. It comes in black or white. We have an HTC One coming, so
cool.
I bought it. I will be using it, and
I'm interested to hear what you think about that.
And even if you
bought the Google edition, right?
Google edition, which is not Nexus. It's just has some
raw,
of the stuff taken out.
raw dog Google.
It's not like even a pure. You'd still need to get updates.
Oh, from HTC. Yeah. Good luck then.
There's actually the ROM for the Galaxy S4 Google edition out also. So if you have S4 and you wanted to get rid of a lot of that Samsung stuff, you can. I
heard that there are some maybe hinky limitations to it right now.
To the
ROM for Galaxy S4 users, like you definitely want to read the release notes. It's not all the way right.
It's an XNA developers thing.
Yeah. Pebble is shipping at retail from Best Buy, so they've filled all their Kickstarter pre-orders.
They have not filled all their Kickstarter.
What?
Yeah.
What is up with this?
It's a trend, I think.
The fuck is wrong with people?
Just like
hi, I'm going to fund your business. Give you a discounted price.
Like I said, do not use Kickstarter as a. Do not expect that when you support something on Kickstarter that you are going to be in the front of the line.
But isn't that what they said? If you buy from us, you'll be at the front of the line.
For the people who are legitimate in the front of the line, and those limited ones, yeah. But if you are like, Kickstarter, there are risks involved.
Yeah, it
is
some weak sauce.
It is a gamble every time you support something on Kickstarter, and it is a good faith agreement between the project people and the backers.
So the estimated delivery, if you were one of the 14,350 backers who pledged $125, was a Pebble in any color. Choose from Arctic White, Cherry Red, Voter's Choice, or Jet Black. Free shipping to the USA, $10 extra for Canada, $15 for international. And the estimated delivery was September 2012.
Wow, that was almost a year ago.
Yeah.
So people are still waiting for the white ones, I believe, and the Best Buys will only be the black ones. So theoretically, technically they are still.
What was the Voter's Choice color?
Orange.
This is really weak sauce. Really, really weak sauce. Okay.
If you cared a lot for the Pebble, I mean, you should maybe backed it earlier.
But
don't be one of those.
Thumbs down, man. Thumbs down on it. Like I realize that they probably signed contracts with Best Buy and were like, well, we'll have these products in time for this and this. And
also, it's more expensive on Best Buy than it was on the Pebble side.
I don't care. If you kickstarted it, you should be among the first.
Kickstarter. It's not a retailer.
Oh,
not a retailer.
Weak sauce.
Don't
Super weak sauce. Don Matrick bailed out of Microsoft this week. Pulled the ripcord. Just boom.
Now, have you gone back to watch any of the E3 videos? Because this must have been going on while he was at E3.
Oh, he had to be interviewing,
announcing
right?
Xbox One. I mean, I don't think post E3 after the debacle of communication.
You mean the Xbox 180?
Sure. I don't think that's when he started calling around. You guys got CEO jobs for big companies. It must have been in conversation with Zynga. So I'm curious about whether people at Microsoft knew. I gotta think no. And well,
yeah, if people at Microsoft knew, then he would have been.
I think even if he had let Ballmer know.
Ballmer would have eaten his heart if he'd let Ballmer know.
I think that he had to have stayed on for the Xbox One announcement, because going into that announcement, going into E3, I don't think anyone at Microsoft expected that kind of backlash to their DRM policies. So I think they needed to have the face of Xbox, and the guy who would run
the current face. Well, I mean, who else is going to do it? Phil Harrison?
Right, exactly. Yeah, yeah, they had to have Matrick do it. So I think he would have. I think at least in Matrick's head, our assumption is that he knew he was going to leave, and the big turnaround in public reaction to the Xbox One after the PS4 announcement is probably what sealed the deal for him to go from Microsoft to Zynga.
I gotta assume that that's a big cash deal because the stock you don't take a stock deal at Zynga right now, right?
No, you don't take a stock. No way.
I mean, they make you probably take a stock deal at Zynga, but
stock went up.
The thing is, Zynga's not exactly a competitor. If he'd gone to Sony, then they probably would have escorted him out as soon as he gave notice. If he's going to Zynga, then it's a little bit different thing, I guess. I don't know. Because they're not really competitors.
Maybe he understands casual social games.
I don't know. Maybe Zynga's going to start publishing Xbox games. Who knows? Maybe this is just another sleeper cell, like Stephen Elop going to Nokia. Microsoft's taking over everyone, one CEO at a time. The good news, the word Verge reported this, and other people have as well. That this is him getting out in front of a Ballmer-led restructuring of the executive level at Microsoft, and that they were going to put him in charge of a hardware division, which wasn't as high level as he felt like he should be. So,
as high level as he felt like. Be thankful you guys have jobs.
I don't know. I feel like Matrick's probably the one good thing that Microsoft had going until the DRM debacle of the last 2 weeks. The good news, though, guys, is that we don't need to worry about the Xbox because Ballmer is in charge. He's taking it over personally until the reorg, and they announce the new head of Xbox. So, great news, everyone. Of course, the Xbox stuff should be locked down enough at this. Like, it should be final. All they need to do is ship units and get the software out there and get that day one update that's going to take out the 24-hour check-in requirement and all the DRM and stuff.
I wonder if Ballmer has a gamer tag, and I wonder if he pays an assistant to
Ballman
to kind of inflate his gamer tag.
His gamer tag is just Ballman, right? It's got to be. It's Ballman. I don't know. B-Dog. XXX B-Dog 420. That's a good gamer tag for Ballmer. He's if he needs to inflate his gamer score, can't they just go into the database and be like, yeah, you have all your achievements in King Kong and NBA Jams 06.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Right. And NBA Live 2006.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't remember the other cheese ball ones. Let's talk.
Hire Kim.com to help him play some Call of Duty.
Canon announced a new camera this week.
Canon, not Canada.
I said Canon.
Canon, sound like Canada. Canon did announce a new mid-range DSLR 70D. For a while, this has been, I think, a couple of years since they did 60D. They had the 40D, 50D, and 60D actually came out pretty rapid succession over a 2-year span, and I don't think people are very happy with the 60D given the announcement of the 7D, and 70D looks interesting. Their big thing is
it's a new sensor, right?
A new sensor, still same size, does fast autofocus for when shooting video, and I think it'll be $1,1100 or $1,300. So it's still a much more than someone who's in the market for like a Rebel would want to spend on a camera.
It's still a crop sensor, right?
It's APS-C.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So who buys these cameras are for people who shoot sports and stuff like that, right?
Shoot sports, yeah, with I think 19 points of autofocus. Yeah, if you shoot a lot of sports, you don't want to spend more than $2,000 on a camera body, and you shoot video also.
Okay.
Which some photographers are, really calling this a gimmick. I think if you're a big camera manufacturer and you don't put a lot of video-friendly features in your cameras, then people won't buy your cameras.
Yeah, I mean, if you're buying a high-end SLR at this point, you kind of expect it, I would think. Do you want to talk about the 3D printed duck foot? I thought this was an interesting story. Buttercup is the name of the duck.
There are a lot of weird 3D printed, and amputee style stories going around this week. This one was a duck, and the duck didn't 3D print it. Someone else 3D printed a
no, ducks don't 3D print stuff. Ducks are ducks. They don't even have thumbs. How could they use a computer? It's not like they have Windows 8.1 already and have easy 3D printing support.
If only that's an ad. That's
a revolution.
This is a television commercial for Microsoft in making.
I know.
A duck printed its own amputee
I
foot.
wore out my 3D printed foot. I should print another one.
It's a cute foot.
Plus P.
It's a cute foot. It works.
It's a nylon sock. The duck was born in Texas at a high school.
Born without a foot?
And his left foot was turned backwards.
Oh, no.
And they had to amputate the foot. So he was a peg leg duck for a while. But now he has a nylon and 3D printed actual foot. It's super cute. You should watch the YouTube video. Highly encourage.
In human news, a human amputee created a Lego foot for herself.
Really?
For fun.
Out of Lego?
Out of Lego.
Wow, that's
the
neat.
Description, a Lego foot.
Okay.
And then also...
How many bricks? Is this like a Kuso kit?
No, it's not a Kusu kit.
That'd be awesome.
I don't think she listed exactly how many kits. She just did it for the hell of doing it.
That's awesome.
And then also, there's the 3D printed cast that someone made.
Oh, I saw that. That was really cool.
I think that's all right.
Have you ever had a cast?
Yeah, it's
itchy.
Sure, but I don't think...
It gets real gross in there. And
I don't trust the structural support for 3D printed cast.
Well, I think that they'd have to work that stuff out. I mean, you got to be able to make some plastic and stuff as strong as plaster and cotton wadding. I don't even know what casts are made of anymore. They probably don't even use that anymore. It's probably all inflatable air things and stuff now, right? When was the last time you saw somebody with a big plaster cast on? It's been a while.
Or just broken wrist?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they still have those.
Okay.
Yeah.
The 3D printed one was neat though because it looked like it was all like a it almost looked like a honeycomb kind of structure. It was like hexagons
it looked
with
like
big holes.
Those 3D printed dresses that you've seen. It was more of a design statement than a functional statement.
That is true. Okay.
Speaking of Lego, now, did you know Gizmodo, the website, has a Lego section now?
Yeah, Jesus is super into Lego.
Yes, and they posted this story, this fact for Lego.
He went to the factory last year.
Went to the factory
year,
and have been working in close partnership with Lego to run these stories. And I thought the fact was interesting because it talked about he asked why Legos are so expensive and what type of testing they put Lego bricks through and how many Lego bricks they've made, but also some aspects of design. For example, Lego minifigs, the heads have a hole through the top and bottom of the head, so that if a child swallows it,
it doesn't obstruct the airway.
They can still breathe.
Yeah, it's the same as the Lifesaver.
Perfectly useless if the Lego minifig is wearing a hat or a helmet.
Well,
then it's obstructed completely.
Fair
Probably
it would fall off on the way down. Depends on which way it goes.
I don't want.
You shouldn't give Legos to kids under 5. Lego bricks are not you have to give them Duplo or Quadro or whatever the big ones are.
They also published a story that had a photo of every single minifig ever made.
That is a lot of minifigs. All the pieces, or like the ones that were assembled as this kit comes with this minifig?
From 1970
wow.
to all the way down to the new licensed ones. One photo for every minifig in this long page, all watermarked. I'm sure the Lego wiki people were very, very sad.
Oh wow! Oh, that's ice cold. That is how many minifigs was it? Thousands? It had to be thousands, right?
I know the exact number. I'm gonna try to find that right now.
Google Glass, the Project Glass Explorer editions, got a new update earlier this week, the night before last, technically, and it includes a web browser, more voice controls, and some context-aware stuff. They changed the OK Glass menu for the times you access it with your finger. It behaves differently now whether you're accessing it with finger or voice. I still do not have, I'm going to check right now. I don't think I have the update yet. I've been waiting. You can't force updates on Google Glass. And as a result, stuff has stopped working because it's waiting for the update. Like video, I can't shoot video anymore.
So the Google Glass breaks before it gets better?
It seems like it, yeah. It's a little weird. I called support yesterday.
What did they say?
They said...
was it like a concierge service? Glass concierge?
It was pretty fancy, yeah. Like I called, I didn't have to wait on hold or anything. Some guy just picked up. His name was
line.
Craig.
You knew what your name was?
He did not know what my name was. Nope, XE6 still up to... It says... It's lying to me. It says XE6 up to date. It's horse shit. I wonder if it's because I don't have enough space free on the device. I might wipe some... I have a bunch of photos and video and stuff. Maybe I'll wipe some off.
How does Google Glass now integrate with the Tesla?
Somebody built a third-party app. So Tesla has an API. Google Glass obviously has an API. And so somebody wrote a third-party app that will allow you to do things like close and open the sunroof, lock and unlock the car doors.
Lock door. Glass, lock door.
I assume it's touch commands because it seems like the third-party stuff doesn't really do voice commands yet. But you can even find out where your car is if you forgot where you put it.
Does this need to be while you're outside of the car or inside the car? Or
I gotta assume it's for while you're outside the car. Like the.
So how does the signal get from glass?
It's
to the car?
internet. The car has internet access. Glass has internet access.
Okay.
So it is internet mediated communication with your vehicle. It'll tell you where your car is if you can't remember that.
Give you turn-by-turn directions, walking directions.
I don't know if it'll do that, but that seems like a good idea. Yeah. I mean,
steal someone, school glass and like take me to my nice Tesla.
Most of the times I've forgotten, and then unlock it and probably start it too.
Exactly, right.
Why not?
Google Glass doesn't recognize who you are.
So that means you jack a pair of $1,500 goofy glasses and then also get a $100,000 car. Win-win.
Yeah. Throw away the toe shoes in the glove compartment and you'll be all right.
Yeah, put that lift mustache on though. You got to get that thing up there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm ambivalent about that as I don't have a Tesla. So,
does it make you want to get a Tesla more now that you have technology that integrates with it better? Just like 6 years ago, having a phone that supported Bluetooth made it more desirable to get a car that also supported Bluetooth.
That's true.
Now
story checks out.
Google Glass supports Tesla.
Does your car support Bluetooth?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you pipe audio and stuff through it?
And I cannot do audio.
Oh, it's just calls.
Exactly. See, now I wish I had a car.
Oh man, you bought 1 year early.
Yeah, that could do Bluetooth audio.
I'm so sorry. Microsoft's finally selling Surface outside of Microsoft stores. I thought that this happened a long time ago, but apparently it didn't. It was in the news this week. I don't know.
You could also buy Surface Pro with 256 gigs of storage.
Yes. How expensive is that? Super duper?
I think it's still under $1,500, I think.
This next story, I think, happened last week and we just missed it, but Instagram Video launched. Have you used Instagram? It's like Vine,
nope.
Right? It's 14 or 15 seconds?
25 seconds.
25 seconds?
Wait, I'm sorry. Vine is 6 seconds?
6.
This is 14 seconds.
Yeah.
It is about more than double the
That means
time
it's got to be
of
at least
Vine.
twice as good.
But the problem...
Wait, there's problems?
Is that It doesn't loop.
What, really?
The video doesn't loop. Which I think defeats much of the opportunity to do this type of built-in.
Yeah, the
video.
challenge of to get your Vine maximum dumb, you have to line up the first frame and the last frame, so that it
It's an animated
tells
GIF.
an infinite story. Yeah, exactly. If you want that, you have to update your app, and a lot of third-party stuff that taps into Instagram has to be updated as well.
I have not seen many Instagram videos. Reports have said that Vine use has dropped off dramatically.
Who
I have not
reported
noticed
that?
either?
Okay.
Because I don't really care about Vine, which is something that apparently a lot of people do now.
The Vines that I see these days are mostly people like making 6-second short films, basically. So they set up a whole thing.
I did see one Vine that I thought
Which
was
Vine
great.
did you see?
It was a dude who took a Nature Valley grain bar.
Granola bar?
Granola bar. He lifted it up to his head out of frame.
Mm-hmm.
And you heard the crunching sound, and then you saw like explosion of granola bits everywhere.
Oh, so it was
Just dropped
the
on
full
floor.
experience.
Yes, because
Okay.
that's exactly what happens.
That is how that story checks out. A couple of big iOS game releases happened this week. XCOM, which has actually been out for a couple of weeks now. That happened while I was gone, I think. But XCOM for iPad is out. I have used it on both iPad Mini and iPad 3. It's awesome on iPad 3. It crashes all the time on the iPad Mini. And it's $20, which I think is a perfectly fair price for you're essentially getting the same game as the PC version.
How big is it?
It's huge. It was like 2-3 gigs. It took forever to download. And then I think it was 2 gigs, and then it turned into 3 gigs when it's on the device. The load times are awful on the Mini, like phenomenally bad.
So you would not recommend it on the Mini?
If you have a Mini, I would not recommend it. But otherwise, you should go for it. Also, Agricola is out. If you like German board games, it is an awesome German board game, and they have a good tutorial mode, which is taught me that I have been playing that game wrong for many years. Not super wrong, but just wrong enough. The last thing is that Professor Layton, which is long been a DS and 3DS franchise, they released a iOS version of a Professor Layton game earlier this week. It's out.
My
You can download it
goodness.
right now.
My goodness.
Professor Layton games are like you said you wanted more detectives in your life, Norm.
Yeah.
He is a puzzle-solving
Professor.
detective.
Professor.
Exactly.
A lot of logic puzzles.
Love those games. The puzzles, they kind of ran out of puzzles after about the 5th one. But
Is Phoenix Wright out for iOS, the HD?
there was a Phoenix Wright release for iOS. I don't know if it was HD version, but I got tired of the Phoenix Wright games after the first one. I realized I was done with Japanese soap opera objection games. But not that there's anything wrong with them. They're just not for me.
Phoenix Wright Attorney HD Trilogy.
This is the first 3,
I
probably.
believe it is the first 3. And it
Does
look-
HD mean it is for Retina or for iPad?
I believe it is for
You're on your phone, so
iPhone.
yeah.
Yeah. In-app purchase.
Cabin in the Woods is going to be a Universal Studios Orlando theme park ride.
I don't think they call it Universal Studios Orlando. I think they just call it Universal Orlando because they don't have the studios there. Studios indicates it's in LA.
Cabin in the Woods is going to be a Universal Orlando attraction.
And it's not a ride. It is a Halloween only
Really?
maze. So it's like their version of the haunted house. So much like
Ew.
in many parts of the world, in the U.S., during the Halloween holiday season, the Thanksgiving holiday season, there are lots of cornfield mazes.
Oh, yeah, I guess cornfield mazes, yeah.
And also haunted houses that people set up, little pop-up haunted houses. I haven't done one of those since elementary school.
The corn maze?
The haunted house maze experience. It's really like I won't even call them a house, right? They have like facilities where they set up a maze, and it's very dark, and then they have jump scares everywhere, and then they take awesome photos of you unexpectedly, and night vision video. It's perfect for
2 of those
reality
things
TV.
sound great. Yeah.
And institutions like Universal Orlando run their annual haunted house thing, just like Disneyland actually has a haunted mansion. And
But the Disneyland Haunted Mansion is one of the greatest attractions of all
absolutely.
time.
That's why it's much better than what these
This
pop-up
Cabin in the
haunted
Woods
houses one.
nonsense.
So the Cabin in the Woods one, they're really talking it up. It's going to be, you are someone who works at the cabin, the facility, I think, with a capital F. And
Okay.
you get to go through the cabin, go underground, see all the
monsters?
the cages,
Like the tiny ballerina. And
Yep, and they'll have all that stuff.
Okay. I'm not real optimistic. I've heard like really mixed reviews of the Harry Potter stuff that they did.
Harry Potter was a giant. I've heard only good things. Harry Potter was a actual.
It's a whole area of the
It was a Cars land. They spent a ton of money building that up. I don't think this will be. I think this will be much more low budget.
Okay. And then the last thing is Apple applies for an iWatch trademark
In the U.S.,
in Japan and other countries.
I don't think this is surprising at all.
You think that they're just fucking with people, or you think this is going to be a real product?
I think that they're protecting this eye brand. That's it.
So they're going to do like an eye for glasses or eyeglasses or eye hat.
I think it's a totally just a lawyer thing.
What would you put in a smart hat? Camera?
What type of hat? Baseball cap? So
No,
if Apple
no,
was to
no.
make a smart hat,
Apple's going to make
if anyone wants to make a
pork
smart
pie
hat,
or something.
you would need to make a hat that would appeal to the most number of people.
So it has to be a baseball hat.
Most likely,
Maybe a visor option for
baseball,
golfers.
Baseball cap is likely, but if they wanted a visor option, technology would have to be in the visor. I guess you would. It would be like projected augmented reality from the visor to your eyeballs or something to the visor.
Something dumb like that. Yeah.
I don't know what you would put in a smart hat.
We also went to Ryan's wedding this weekend.
That's right. Ryan Davis got married.
Yeah. It was a
Yeah.
good wedding.
Yeah.
Like I've been to a lot of weddings, and that was a pretty strong wedding. It was really, really hot for a while,
It was really, really hot for most of it.
and then there was a lot of sun for a fair amount of time. I didn't wear sunscreen, and the left side of my face was noticeably pinker than the right side of my face.
You also did not wear Google Glass.
No, my mom told me a long time ago that when you go to a wedding, it is very important that the bride and groom be the center of attention.
If you wear a watch
yeah,
normally, which I know you don't, would you have
No.
worn a watch?
yeah, absolutely. Just okay. Here's the thing: in 3 years, if everybody has Google Glass, I would totally wear Google Glass to a wedding. But right now,
I think
it is an attention-getting device, and it was an inappropriate venue for Google Glass. You do not want to take any of the shine off of the bride and groom on their special day.
I absolutely agree. And while I think that is a very fair assumption,
Yes.
the opportunity was there.
Yeah. If you wanted to wear them, I would have totally brought them for you. You just had to say.
I wish you would have at least brought them in the car.
Well, it was 100 degrees, so I was afraid. I thought about bringing them and leaving them in the car, but I was afraid they would get damaged in the car. It was so hot.
You don't have an air-conditioned glove compartment?
Is your glove compartment air conditioned?
No.
Oh, I was going to say.
Seems like something that people would have.
That's ridiculous. I did wear them to the barbecue on Sunday, though. I took a lot of pictures there.
Not quite as for I think weddings and birthdays and memorable events are exactly the type of things that Google want people to use Google Glass in, and that experience should have been told. And if it was a terrible experience, then so be it. But at least you can definitely
again. I felt like the magic of someone's special day was over,
and
trumped my interest in making a dumb story.
More than 4 people had come up to you and said, "What's that?" and you had then gotten the confirmation that it would have detracted from that wedding, then you could have.
But then I would have already happened. I already would have been the asshole.
That's a risk. That's a risk everyone should be willing to take if you're going to be a Google Glass early adopter.
No, you just have to know the right place. I don't wear them to the doctor's office either, because people really give you the stink eye there. I learned. Lessons learned.
Everywhere.
It's true. Everywhere you get the stink eye.
Everywhere you should be taking Google Glass.
We took the dogs to the beach, Huey and Chloe and the kids, after you left the barbecue, and I took a bunch of pictures at the beach. It was good. So I guess let's play some music and talk about what we're testing. This is the lowest energy podcast we've done in a long time.
And you're drinking Red Bull.
You took a lot of pictures at Ryan's wedding.
I wish I took more. I didn't take as many as
the pictures were lovely.
I wish I took more.
Gina was bummed that we didn't ever take a family picture. So we're going to hire you if you're available to take a family picture at some point.
Hire also in
we will trade
compensation. So you don't have to hire me.
Well, we'll at least buy you lunch or something. Yeah, the pictures you shot were lovely. It was really impressive.
Unfortunately, the internet got to see some of them.
Yeah, well, mistakes were made. But what were you shooting with, just for curiosity? The 60?
Just a regular camera.
Okay.
Same camera I've had for 3 months.
Okay.
I bought it for Ryan's wedding.
Really?
Yes.
That was one of the. That was one of your excuses.
That was one of the excuses.
Okay. And then you bought it early enough that you had time to practice.
Absolutely.
Luckily, we went to Houston. Did you have? You had one when we went to Houston, right? So you had it at Houston. You had it at CERN.
I had it at another wedding. At another wedding before Ryan's wedding.
Oh, so you had a practice wedding?
Practice wedding.
Nice.
Yeah. Real family wedding.
So yeah, I mean, the nice thing is, like, you have had a series of really interesting stuff to shoot with that.
The thing you should take away from Ryan's wedding and taking photos is, if you are going to commit to taking photos at someone's wedding, fully commit, and do not. You either have to enjoy yourself at the wedding,
or take pictures.
And I think that is true for every single type of event.
Did he have other people there taking pictures? Like, I know Vinny brought his camera, and like there was a team of experts.
Right, but
yeah, taking pictures at weddings is hard because it's
the number one thing that people on the list of things people think they spend too much money on at weddings.
Yeah.
Maybe second to catering. And it is also very high on the list of things that married couples wish they had spent more money on if they didn't spend money.
We took a lot of pictures at our wedding, and I think we've gone back and looked at them once in 8 years. So
you're not at the age yet.
We are also.
You have to wait 30 years, and then all the photos come out, and then you go,
I
remember this.
We'll have to get a SATA hard drive probably to get them at that point. I've been testing iOS 7. I
have it on your phone right now.
Yeah, against all kind of good judgment. So first, I installed Tiny Umbrella on my MacBook and got the hashes or whatever you need in order to backtrack if you need to. But yeah, it's much more usable than I expected. Like, it is. I've had Springboard, which is the kind of the main like UI front of iOS, crash once. I really, really like a lot of what they've done. The only thing I really don't like is the kind of zooming in and out. I feel like there's
the new app loading animation.
Yeah, the app loading and the coming in from the home screen animation.
Be careful, we can't show it to the camera yet.
Oh, really?
Breaking all sorts of TOS.
I'm not supposed to talk about this, I guess. I kind of like the way the icons fall down onto the background, though. The icons for apps fall down onto the home screen, like they animate in. Here, look, you can see.
Super descriptive.
So, they kind of
you're saying that
there's like a cascade.
Okay, the effect when you unlock your phone,
yes.
when you first go to your home screen on iOS 6,
it's just there.
They kind of
clunk.
They fly in all at the same rate, but in iOS 7 they fly in at different speeds to make it give this illusion.
Well,
I think
on iOS 7 it looks like the old Starfield screensaver where the stars are falling past you.
See,
I guess they slide in from the edges.
It's just at different rates. And I think that there's a lot of iOS 7, in addition to kind of revamping and cleaning up this interface, is also making more use of the graphical power that's in the iPhone.
In modern iPhones, yeah.
In the modern iPhone. And things that really couldn't have been done with iPhone, even iPhone 4 or 4S, or done smoothly. And you said that you noticed some performance hiccups, largely because it's still one of the early betas.
Yeah.
But also, I think it's because that this OS is really going to be designed for the next iPhone, whether it's the 5S or whatever they call it, which is going to have a faster processor, faster graphics. And I think Marco Arment made the argument that this new design, not only is it to differentiate iOS 7 from iOS 6, it's also designed to differentiate iOS 7 from all the Android phones, which a lot of Apple proponents have said were influenced by previous versions of iOS.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. I mean,
doing it in a way using all the new graphical tweaks and all the graphical fanciness in a way that some lower end Android phones cannot do.
So the thing that I've noticed about this, and I've only been using it for about 24 hours now, so it's still pretty fresh, is that it seems much more deliberate than previous versions of iOS have, where things like folders and notification center, all that kind of came on.
What do you mean deliberate?
Like there is the design language feels much less of a hodgepodge. So it like the layer thing that was talked about, I guess in the keynote maybe, I can't remember. Like that is very obvious in all of the Apple specific apps. Things like the Control Center, the new thing that slides up from the bottom of the screen. They're using more advanced gestures and they're cueing you to them in a much more consistent way. Like there's this little caret thing at the top of trays that lets you know you can slide that down. When you're on the lock screen, that caret shows you which way you can slide in for different things. Like if you slide in from the top, you get the notification center. If you slide in from the bottom, you get the control center. And if you go to the side, you did take that photo. Like the full screenness nature of the phone is also much more apparent in almost all of the apps that Apple's provided. And it makes the phone feel very new in a way that I wasn't expecting.
I think that on iOS, more so than on Android and other mobile OSs, the designers of apps really pride themselves on the design of the uniqueness of their apps, the visual style of their apps, regardless of what Apple's design language guidelines say.
Yeah.
Both in icon design and in the design of the apps. And as long as Apple provides a good baseline experience, then what's going to really give the personality of iOS going forward is how designers adapt their apps. Like if you look at iOS 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the base iOS you get when you buy a new phone is all right, but it's only after you install a ton of different apps and mix up your app icons and do a little bit of customization that you get something that's more visually interesting.
I think that's very fair. So I'm up and down on some of the new icons. Some of them are good. Some of them I kind of don't care about. Some of them are actively bad.
The real test to me whether my mom and dad are going to be able to use this.
Yeah, I'm terrified of what's going to happen when my father hits the update button on this.
Being terrified is not a good thing of that.
No,
it's not a good sign.
This. I mean, the good news is most of that stuff is pretty cosmetic. Like the things, the benefit of the things that have changed, like the control center that slides in from the bottom. I can't remember if that's the official name, but it has all of the quick keys for things like airplane mode, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, do not disturb, and rotation lock, and a brightness control on the iPhone, as well as music controls, which are all things that were very difficult to get to and were all kind of buried in the task switching menu. The new task switching menu that shows the actual previews of the apps is brilliant. It's absolutely fantastic. It's something
that should have been there a long time ago.
It should have been there a long time ago. You're correct. And the other thing I noticed immediately that I don't think they've talked about publicly is that if you swipe down from the top just a little bit, and I'm having trouble doing it right now, if you do a big swipe down from the top, you get the notification center. But if you just kind of tap up on the time bar or something, you get the ability to search. Maybe you have to do it from a side.
No, you pinch N. You pinch.
Oh, is it pinching on any screen?
Yeah. Search is now a.
Oh, you drag down the. It's not that. It's that instead of swiping in from the top, swiping down from the top gives you notification. Tap and hold. Tap and swipe down.
Swipe
gives
down
you
from
search.
the home screen.
Yeah,
because search is no longer on the far left.
There's nothing on the far left. Like I said, I'm quite optimistic. It is like the font. They're using a different font, obviously, because Google uses their own font. But it is very like at a surface level, it is very similar to Android 4.1 and newer. It feels very, very similar to the kind of post-honeycomb Android versions. Although even the non-Apple apps pull the design language more effectively. Like the full screen apps look like full screen apps. One thing that's interesting is the keyboard is dramatically different. Like there is a new look for the keyboard. Old apps continue using the old keyboard, but the new keyboard seems to be a lot smarter than the old keyboard was. I have had it look at context in a sentence as I was going and go back and change a word that was maybe two words back that was incorrect. That was an isn't instead of doesn't.
I'm not going to go place any value on improvements in the keyboard until there's some this real definite testing.
I'm just telling you what I have seen in person in the last 24 hours.
And this was not on the old keyboard?
This was not on the old keyboard that I ever saw.
In the old keyboard,
well, I didn't test it on an old keyboard on iOS 6. I tested the old keyboard on iOS 7. I'm not sure that the old keyboard isn't exactly the same as the new keyboard. It's hard to test that stuff because you have to make the mistake. Like the thing that specifically happened was a space bar.
I'm not going to attribute that to iOS 7 just yet.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now that when you hit the space bar by accident instead of, say, the N or the B key on the iOS keyboard, that never gets corrected properly. The space bar is a break between words, and it's not smart enough to know that. It fixed that on this, which is new, because it's a mistake I make all the time on my iPhone and iPad. Right. So, Google Glass testing proceeds. I took pictures at the beach, and the thing I've learned over the last week, and this will be in this week's Living with Glass, is that if you are boring, it is a really super dumb thing to have. Like it was awesome when I was out doing awesome stuff and meeting people and seeing cool stuff at E3 and doing that kind of stuff. When I was sitting at the office every day,
I would not call it awesome. Relatively awesome.
The ability to take a picture by pushing something at your temple at any time is nice. The more interesting you are.
Have you done anything with those photos?
I downloaded them and put them on Aperture the other day, so they're on my computer.
I mean, are those? I mean,
I posted some. I social networked. When somebody said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I sent them a picture of my lunch back because I was eating lunch.
It saves you the step of holding your phone out.
Yeah, exactly.
At the cost of having a crappier picture.
It's not that crappy a picture. I mean, it's an okay picture. It's not that much worse than the iPhone. We'll do some side-by-side comparisons for next week.
Okay.
Although that's going to be tricky because the lenses are dramatically different. And I can't take pictures or video right now.
And you can't frame.
Yeah, you can't frame. I think that's it. Basically, the main thing that you do when you're wearing Google Glass, if you're boring, is give demos of Google Glass to people who have questions about it everywhere you go. Like flight attendants.
So you paid $1,500 to be a
fucking walking ad for Google Glass,
which I think, says a lot about Google's strategy and also that product.
I don't know. I'm interested to see what the XE7 update does. Like I said, I haven't been able to download it yet. I don't know what's wrong, why it isn't downloading.
It lets you browse the web, full web browsing.
And the voice stuff is supposed to be dramatically different. The ability to tap a link in a Twitter post or an email or something like that would be really nice, because right now you can't do that.
Well, what would be nice is if you click the link and then it does something like Readability does, or
Instapaper style, yeah.
And strip formatting, but still gives you the core text.
I assume that's the next thing, except for Google makes a lot of its money on ads, so why would they?
Absolutely, yeah. And I don't think they want you to, and I don't think anyone wants to sit and read a long form article or even a blog post on Google Glass. Like, that is not more productive than doing it on your phone.
Apparently, you can watch YouTube videos now, as well. So I'm interested to see how that works.
Tumblrs.
Butt tumblers?
Well, just tumblers in general.
Butt tumblers. It's a butt. Norm, have you been testing anything interesting? What lenses did you shoot with at the wedding, just out of curiosity?
The same ones I've had, 50mm 1.4.
Okay.
Actually, only just that one lens.
That was your, the prime?
Again, if not going to fully commit, then didn't have time to swap out lenses or do anything, just had one.
Okay.
Wedding photographers shoot with 24 to 70mm 2.8.
Zooms?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to have to switch out lenses,
right? Or you carry two cameras, right?
Or you carry two cameras.
Yeah.
That's an expensive thing to do.
Well, I mean, it depends on how long you've been doing it, right? Because if you have a 5D Mark III and a 5D Mark II, then right?
Yeah. It's still expensive.
That is an expensive problem. What else is going on? Anything else on your testing front?
I got some laptops, some camera bags. Got the phone coming in. Buying a Pebble.
Did you put 8.1 on your home machine?
No. I'm on 7 on my home machine.
Oh, really? You rolled back?
I rolled back.
Wow. I guess that's it for what we're testing. We have a couple questions, and let me play the thing, and we'll take the questions and, get lunch.
Emails?
Well, but we do the other one.
Emails.
We don't do emails, we do...
Emails?
No.
Questions.
Boom.
It was really nice to get to see the Old Whiskey guys at Ryan's wedding this weekend. Yeah. We don't see Alexis and Drew enough. We see Brad, see Jeff, see Ryan.
Fuck those guys.
No Alexis and Drew.
Those guys are the best.
Yeah. If you have a question for
go ahead. Speaking of Drew, he has convinced me to take a flying lesson.
Really?
He took a flying lesson, and he said it's highly recommended.
Okay.
I think he bought it Groupon. It's between $200 and $300.
Just the first lesson?
Just the first lesson. 4 hours.
Okay. What happens in the first lesson?
You take off, you fly around, and then you land.
So, but somebody else is doing the real driving, and you get to point the controls and stuff?
I think you are in the pilot's seat. I don't know how those planes are designed.
But usually both sides have the same, same yoke and pedals.
It's like a learning car,
like a
training
Cessna or
car that has
right?
has 2 brakes.
Yeah.
Where the passenger seat also has a brake. But to get a pilot's license is very expensive and time consuming. I have no intention of that. I don't know if Drew does, but just going out for a Saturday and flying around the bay on a nice day, that would be amazing.
It's a cool way to do Saturday, yeah. Cool thing to do.
Although I wouldn't bring a camera.
You could take the Google Glass.
That is a situation where Google Glass, even the relative ease of Google Glass, would hinder, I think, my ability to.
Well, the other guy's there to make sure you don't kill yourself.
Or him.
Or him.
Or her.
Right, or her. Right, that's their job.
Yep.
Keep everyone alive. Your job is to be the asshole that pays $400 for the one flying lesson. That's awesome. You should totally do that. If you have a question for This Is Only a Test, the email address is podcast@tested.com. We like audio questions, but we'll take written questions as well. If you do an audio question, keep it short and make sure you don't sound like you're standing under a rolling BART train. I don't know. BART strikes on this week. It's hot. That sounds good. The first question is from Steve from Madison, Wisconsin, which is the birthplace of the Onion. Here is the question. Hello, gents. I currently have a PC with a Western Digital 7200 RPM, 640 gigabyte main hard drive, and a 1 terabyte backup drive. I would like to replace that main drive with a 256 gigabyte SSD. I have heard going from a mechanical drive to an SSD will be a great boost in performance. Does it matter if I get any decent SSD, or should I get one of the high-end SSDs like the OCZ Vector, Corsair Neutron, or Samsung 840 Pro? I imagine going from a mechanical drive to an SSD will give me a pleasant upgrade regardless of the SSD. What would you recommend?
All depends on how much you want to spend. I would go for capacity over speed now, since he's going from hard drive to SSD.
Yeah, the thing, Patrick Norton made this good point when people started getting crazy about which SSD was 3% faster than the other. And the point is that any SSD is essentially infinitely faster, mainly in latency, but also in throughput, than your current mechanical hard drive. So don't worry about going from the fastest to the third fastest. What Norm says is right. Buy the biggest one you can afford. Look at reliability. I find that that's really important. And a NAND typically does the best SSD work on the internet right now. So you should go look and see what he recommends right now. But don't get too caught up in performance numbers. And that's anandtech.com if you don't know who Anand is. Our next question comes from Corey MJ. Corey says, I currently own both a PC and a Mac, but both are in serious need of an upgrade. I prefer the Mac for work, but obviously I can get a lot more games on Windows. Soon I'll have the money to upgrade one of my machines, and since I am now able to work from home, I want it to be the Mac. If I buy one of the higher-end iMacs, I was hoping I could load Windows onto it and use it as a gaming PC. If I'm buying a high-end Mac desktop already, is there any reason to get a dedicated gaming computer?
Yes.
Yeah, because the Macs aren't going to have real graphics. I mean, the iMacs have okay graphics. I think that the most recent thin versions, I'm checking right now.
27-inch iMac has NVIDIA with an option for the 680M graphics. If you buy the smaller 24-inch, 22-inch iMac, I think it was March, that has only integrated graphics.
Right.
Either way, both those are due for updates. Internally,
because they're not Haswell right now.
They're not Haswell, and I can expect Haswell with Iris on the small one, and I think the high resolution of the 27-inch, since that's a 2560 by 1440, that's going to need discrete graphics. And from all testing of the NVIDIA's new 700 series mobile graphics, like in the new Razer Blade, it's pretty fast. So wait for those. If you're going to buy now, if you need to buy now, upgrade your PC.
But even with mobile graphics, you're not going to be able to play at the native resolution of that panel. You're going to be playing. You're going to scale down regardless.
Even with
the
graphics?
770, they're not going to be able to play 2560 by 1440.
You play 1920 by 1080.
Right, and scale up.
Yeah. Depends on what game.
I mean, the other way to go is to save a little bit of money when you're configuring the Mac and put it towards like an $800 gaming PC that you can plug into your HDTV or something like that. Because if you're going to go crazy configuring the Mac, if your plan is to build a $4,000 iMac, which is a bad idea, then you're much better off buying a $2,000 iMac and an $800 PC and
buy
keeping that
the
other
smaller
$1,200.
iMac for work. Use other money for a PC for gaming and a nice monitor.
Yeah, that is not a bad idea. And that'll do it for questions this week. If you have a question, again, it's podcast@tested.com. We will be back next week with another episode of This Is Only a Test. This week was Space Week on the site. Space Week Part 2. We originally wanted to have one Space Week, and then fate, it just didn't work out.
Too much space.
There was too much space. We have great posts from Aaron Biba about the experiments that are happening on the International Space Station, even as we speak, and some that happened in the past as well.
What's your favorite experiment going on in the International Space Station?
I liked the bone density stuff. I think that's interesting.
You know why astronauts lose bone faster? They retain more sodium in what they eat.
Some rather than others, right? But it varies from astronaut to astronaut, is my understanding. So they're figuring that stuff out, and that's all important if we ever want to go, further away than, say, the moon. Let's see. We also have you talked to one of the divers who works in. I think his name's Chris.
Chris Hall.
Chris Hall, and it was Chris something with 2 L's. He works on. He is a nitrox diver, a commercial diver who helps astronauts stay safe when they're doing tank training in the world's second largest indoor swimming pool, which is awesome.
Buoyancy lab.
Yeah, that thing. The pictures do not do it justice, but the pictures were gorgeous that you took of the NBL. And then you also got to talk to one of the guys who maintains the spacesuits for the NBL. And also we saw what an astronaut tool belt looks like, which was super cool. I think that was one of the coolest things we saw when we were in Houston.
Spanners.
So that stuff's on the site right now. You should totally check it out. And then we have we'll probably be quiet on Friday if I had to guess. Maybe we'll have a couple of small posts, but nothing big. So because we're off, we're taking vacation. That'll do it for us this week, Mr. Chan. Anything else from you?
No, that's it.
Okay. See you guys next week. And today's outro comes to us from Outrager. Hi there, I didn't see you.
Tested.
I like a little bit larger. That's fine. That's why you do the 11-inch, I do the 13.
Tested.
MacBooks. 11-inch MacBook.
Understood. Clear?
So I press stop streaming and then it thinks for like a half hour. Audio's done. Stretch, Norm. Still stopping. Still stopping.
At some point you have to unplug the internet.
I'm afraid if I stop it, it's not going to work. Our peak concurrent viewers were 1. Yeah. Hey, we're totally doing. Yeah. We're doing the Spaceballs thing. This is now. We're at now. We were at then, and now we're at now. So what happens during now? Is it ever going to stop? I don't think so. I'm going to restart this page and see if that helps. Oh, I do not have permissions to view this page. This is awesome. It's always a problem.